Welcome to another Super Deluxe Edition unboxing video. Today we're going to take a look at the Frankie Goes to Hollywood Welcome to the Pleasuredome Deluxe box set, which was released very recently on Friday the 31st of October. So this is a 7 CD and Blu-ray package. It's part of a suite of products, which we'll talk about the other formats in a minute. But this is the Super Deluxe Edition, if you like. 7 CDs, 1 Blu-ray. Still got the shrink wrap on here, just really to show you that rather large hype sticker on the front. And full disclosure here, actually, because I'm actually name checked here, but I do have some involvement in this project in terms of I've written some sleeve notes, which you'll see in a minute, in the book, which is part of this box set. But also I sort of co-compiled it with various people. So yeah, so I do have an involvement with this project. Obviously there is an SDE Blu-ray audio, which we'll talk about in a little while. But the formats for this particular project are this 7 CD plus Blu-ray box set. There's also a brand new vinyl edition. Obviously it's a double album, so every vinyl edition of Welcome to the Pleasuredome has been a 2 LP set. The difference here is this is the Steven Wilson stereo mix on vinyl, so we'll take a look at that. And finally there's a 2 CD edition as well, which pairs the original stereo mix, not the Steven Wilson mix, with a selection of highlights from the box set. Now I thought it might be interesting to back up a little bit here and talk about Frankie Goes to Hollywood reissues, because they have got a bit of a reputation of having had a lot of reissues over the years. And it is true the ZTT catalogue was licensed quite a bit over time. Back in the early noughties, Repertoire Records in Germany, they did a whole suite of ZTT reissues. In more recent times, Universal actually did a very short-lived licensing deal in 2009-ish, when they had the Frankie Say, Greatest Hits, etc. But more recently than that, we've had Union Square stroke Salvo. They have spent a decade actually putting out some excellent reissues. They went through all the catalogue, did Frankie, did The Art of Noise, did most of the major ZTT artists in normally like 2 CD vinyl type packages. The Salvo Union Square years culminated in the Inside the Pleasuredome box set, which was 2014. So this is really the last significant major box set of any sort of size that has come out to do with Frankie Goes to Hollywood. This was beautifully designed and put together. They did a very good job, but this is primarily a vinyl box set. There was a DVD in there as well. I won't go through this box set today because this video isn't about this box set, but this was really the last major significant reissue of Welcome to the Pleasuredome where there was unreleased material and stuff like that. Now Universal Music actually bought the ZTT catalogue sort of about 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. So I guess it was always in the planning that a box set like this would come out. So far with Frankie on Universal, we've had things like the 3 CD Essential Collection. We had a Record Store Day reissue here. And then there was things like this, the HMV 100th anniversary reissue of Welcome to the Pleasuredome. But I think it's fair to say what marks out this particular reissue is it's done with the full cooperation and help of Frankie Goes to Hollywood themselves. All 5 members, thankfully all still with us. So they've all been consulted, contributed, given their views on track selection and all the rest of it. So nothing on this box set is done against the will of the band. They've sort of approved everything. If there's anything they haven't wanted on the box set, there's been grown-up conversations about it. And if they feel strongly that they didn't want something included, it wasn't included. So that's kind of very important, I think, from a fan point of view. Because I know there's been this feeling over the years that the catalogue's been exploited, you know, the band haven't been rewarded, consulted, etc. But that really isn't the case with this new campaign. So let's take a look at the box set first of all. Now this is really one of my favourite formats. This is a sort of 10-inch box set that Universal have been doing a lot of reissues in. They do the John Lennon boxes in this format. Lots of others. It's become a kind of favourite format, I think, in terms of the Super Deluxe Edition box set. Fans seem to quite like it as well. It's not as unwieldy as a big 12-inch box, but it's obviously more significant than something that's CD sized. So yeah, so this is a 10-inch by 10-inch package. As I say, 7 discs here and a Blu-ray at the end. This might be a good time just to go over the content. I mean, this is the most significant reissue for a long time. I mean, there's never been a Frankie Goes To Hollywood Welcome to the Pleasuredome reissue that has as much material and as much unreleased material as this box set does. So it's really broken down into first disc of demos and sessions, which is almost entirely unreleased. So this includes Kid Jensen sessions, John Peel sessions, really early demos, Arista demos. And then beyond that we have discs based around each of the singles, Relax, Two Tribes, Power of Love and Welcome to the Pleasuredome. So within these single discs there's going to be some familiar mixes and then some unfamiliar ones, some ones that have never been released before. So for example, for Relax, there's most of the cassette singles in there. Some of the interview stuff is missing. You can read between the lines on that probably. There's some really interesting mixes here. There's a Relax mix called Relax the Album. You see there, track 2. That's a 24-minute mix, which has never been released before. It's somewhere between the 16-minute sex mix and the 16-minute cassette mix. Very interesting. I mean, the same goes for all of the singles really. There's a Newsnight version of Two Tribes that's never been released. The Video Destructo mix is quite rare. That was only on the German 12 inches compilation. Again, quite a lot of tracks from the Keep the Peace cassette single. But as I say, some familiar ones as well, like the Hibakusha mix of Two Tribes. This box was about highlighting unreleased material, highlighting original demos and maybe not retreading all the same old ground in terms of do you need and want the New York mix of Relax in full on this box set. It's not really designed to be a completely comprehensive roundup, more like an interesting journey through the vaults, through the releases to end up with the album at the end. So disc 4 is after Two Tribes. Now this is a sort of rarities disc, so this is a kind of bringing together of interesting stuff that was found in the vaults. So there's an early 12-inch version of Welcome to the Pleasuredome, which is 9 minutes long. Very interesting. Outtakes of Two Tribes, backing tracks, a long version of Black Night, White Light, which has an extended sort of middle section, and a different take of The Power of Love, for example. But then it goes back into the singles again, B-side, Welcome to the Pleasuredome, and then disc 7 is the album itself. So this is the normal 1984 mix of the album. And then when we get onto the Blu-ray, which is available separately, as we know, with extra material on it, as a standalone SDE disc, which is going to come out in a couple of weeks. But the Blu-ray, you get the Steven Wilson 2025 mixes. So that's Dolby Atmos, 5.1 and stereo. And there's a selection of bonus tracks as well. All these bonus tracks are also in Dolby Atmos 5.1 and stereo. On the SD Blu-ray, you get all those in instrumental form as well. But yeah, it's a really pretty generous selection of material. I mean, it's going to take a long time to get all through this, so I don't think fans are going to be disappointed. So in terms of how this breaks down, so there's a book, which we'll look at in a minute. First off, there's 2 kind of folios which contain the discs themselves. So you can see the discs here, they all come in their own sleeves, which is good. So if you want to, you can pull these out and put them on the shelf. Philip Marshall's done all the design work on this. Philip worked on all of the Salvo releases, including the Inside the Pleasuredome box set. So he's someone who really understands the visual language of ZTT and Frankie and all the rest of it. So these are kind of color-coded, these discs. Here's Two Tribes. I mean, the look of these releases are very important. Everyone knows how precise and exacting all the original releases were, so I think that's very much been kept with the reissue. You do get a little section here of the uncensored artwork from Welcome to the Pleasuredome. Power of Love, Welcome to the Pleasuredome, yellow, and then finally the album itself, which is again, as I say, the stereo mix on CD, the original stereo mix. Now the Steven Wilson mix hasn't been released on CD. It's available on vinyl and it's on Blu-ray, but it hasn't actually been released on CD. But on the Blu-ray, as I say, you get the stereo mix, the 5.1 mix, and the Dolby Atmos mix alongside the bonus tracks, and you do get the original version of the album. So they're the two folio wallets. Now the book does a really good job of taking you through the photos of the band throughout this period, and there's a timeline which has been written by Kevin Folks, aka DJ Food. Kevin and Philip worked together on the Inside the Pleasuredome box set. But yeah, it's nicely done here. Reminder of who the band are at the beginning. There's various credits. There's a little intro there written by yours truly. And then, as I say, the great timeline here taking you through the various eras with some of this original photography from the time. So yeah, it just starts with Relax being released in October 83. These are the Top of the Pops appearances, Two Tribes. I mean, the photography and everything's so great from this era. It's just nice to go through it. Really interesting stuff here. There's a little advert telling you about the full length version of the Two Tribes video being shown on Channel 4 in the UK. In the days when it would be news and before YouTube and all that, actually seeing a video in full was not that easy a thing to do. Power of Love, which was released just after the album came out. And then in 1985 was the fourth single, the fourth #1, as ZTT foolishly called it at the time, and it only got to #2. So that is the box set, 7 CDs and a Blu-ray. As you can see, the artwork on the front here is the traditional LP artwork for Welcome to the Pleasuredome. However, for the actual Steven Wilson version on 2LP, they've reverted to an early version of the artwork by Low Col. It looks a little bit different. We've got green here, we've got pink type, and then on the back again, different sort of treatment, rather than just repeat the same old format. It's quite nice to mix it up a bit here. So that looks really good. As you can see here, it says very clearly the Steven Wilson version of Welcome to the Pleasuredome. So there's the gatefold, and then the inner sleeves look like this. This is a black vinyl record. Record #2. There's my essay. Quite cool to see my name on that. So as I say, outside buying the box set and the Blu-ray or the standalone Blu-ray, the only other way to get the Steven Wilson stereo mix of this album is to buy the 2LP set. Now last but not least is this 2 CD edition, which opts for a black treatment of the album cover. Not the first time this has been done, because there was a CD version of Welcome to the Pleasuredome released by Repertoire in, I think it might have been around 2003, 2004, which actually opted for the black cover. And as I say, this is it's the normal original stereo mix of the album, paired with some highlights from the box set. So it's 2 CDs and a booklet in the third package here. So yeah, there's nothing on here that isn't in the box set. You don't need to buy this if you're buying the box set, but it's a good selection, I think. So you get the Relax Arista demo, Love Has Got a Gun phonogram demo, Crisco Kisses, John Peel session, Welcome to the Pleasuredome from the Kid Jensen session, various other things. So It's actually a very good selection here, sort of highlights reel if you like. The booklet is in this third panel here, so you can take that out. Haven't actually looked at this before, but yeah, it has my little intro again, and that's kind of about it. So the timeline is exclusive to the book in the box set, so that's worth noting. Slightly different colour variation on the disc. That's disc CD1 and that's CD2. So they are the three formats that are available at the moment. As I say, unfortunately, the Blu-ray is scheduled to ship around mid-November. Slight production issues with that one. But the 2 CD is available now. The 2 LP is also available now. And then the 7CD plus Blu-ray box set is also available now. You might have some problems getting hold of these because they did sell out. There may still be some stock available at various retailers. I mean, the SDE shop, we sold out of our allocation. But yeah, hopefully Universal might make some more of these. We'll have to wait and see what happens. So I hope you've enjoyed this look at what is a belated 40th anniversary edition of Frankie Goes to Hollywood's Welcome to the Pleasuredome. When the Blu-rays are ready and they come in, the SDE Blu-ray edition, which has a very exciting 30-minute remix of Welcome to the Pleasuredome by Stephen Wilson called Supernova, the Supernova mix. It's the only place you can get it on the SDE Blu-ray. It also has exclusive instrumental versions of the album in Atmos 5.1 and stereo, as well as instrumental versions of the bonus tracks in Atmos 5.1 and stereo. So I'll cover all that when they come in. We'll take a look at the Blu-ray. But for now, thanks very much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, why not subscribe to the Super Deluxe Edition YouTube channel for more great physical music unboxed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.